Hello everybody, how you doing? It is Rosanna here with some Rosy Glow Magic for you, and welcome to our new moon in Libra meditation, co-creation meditation. For those of you who are new to this channel, welcome. For those of you who aren't new to this channel, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me, and I intend that you get something really powerful and magical and life transforming from this experience as we spend a little time together, probably just under an hour. Just as I'm connecting with you all, if you haven't yet got yourself a nice drink to have, ideally some ceremonial grade cacao, a notebook and maybe your favorite crystal. I'll talk a little bit more about this, but I have some obsidian and also some clear quartz here that I'm working with. And peacock earrings. Thank you to Divine Designs for these. And basically what I wanted to do is just to invite you to subscribe if you haven't done already to this channel. It means the world to me when I get your support and your likes and your comments, and obviously your intention to align with this beautiful vibration. And it is, of course, a new moon in Libra, and I really want to apologize for not holding this live stream at 8 p.m. on Sunday UK time. There's a good reason for it. I'm going to go into it because it's all about transparency. It's also why I'm not wearing any clothes. So this weekend we had the self-celebration retreat at Rye Island in Henfield, which I've been preparing for along with my lovely Claire and Cherie and Lula and everybody who's been involved in this, including my beautiful Ian, to create a beautiful experience for those who wanted to come. And what was really interesting is that everybody who decided to come ended up being someone who had either done the Fearless coaching program with me or Conceive with Ease, and had worked deeply with me, or at least attending my yoga classes and having some kind of contact. So it wasn't people new to me, and there's good reason for this. Before I go any further though, I feel it would be prudent for us to toast this cacao. So I'm very grateful to the cacao, to this beautiful teacher that has opened my heart and allowed me to heal at a rate that I'm comfortable with. Grace and ease really are the frequencies that I align with, and I encourage those that work with me to align with. And really, grace is the power of revelation. It is the gifts freely given. Welcome those of you who are joining. Please say who you are. And also it is the ability to let go easily of what no longer serves us. And we can pray again and again and again for the willingness to let go of a habit, an addiction, a way of a belief, something that's limiting. But invariably, until we're really ready, it's not going to happen. And when we are ready, the universe will conspire to support us to make that shift. And that's exactly what has happened for me. So before I go into explaining more on that, let's have a little toast. So if you want to bring your cacao up to your heart, take a moment to close your eyes and welcome your breath into your heart center. Just allow the smile in your heart to find you. I mean, I've got a mix of Keith's cacao and the cacao love from Peru. It's always nice when you mix cacaos together, you get something slightly different. But Keith always taught me to look for the smile in the heart. So if you allow the smile in your heart to find you, let it radiate and expand out from your heart. Beautiful golden glow. At the same time, receive that golden light as love raining down from above. And also rising up from the center of the earth. So, is it from us? Is it from outside of us? It is both. But we are all one. And take a moment to welcome the insights that will allow you to create greater balance and harmony in your life and in the lives of those that you love. May we each be taken where we most need to go. We can gently and honestly open up to allow the transformation and the transmutation necessary. As we let go of our density, we love it up into light and higher frequencies of energy. And so it is, and so it shall be. Great work. Gently bow your head to your lovely heart and then open your eyes and come back. Hello. Okay, so here's the truth. Here's what happened. You can drink your cacao and I'll share it with you, and this is all part of it. So I knew that the title of this co-creation meditation was moving from suspicion to trust. I knew it weeks ago. And then we had the equinox, and then we were prepping for this retreat. Now, the retreat had 3 workshops that the women were running. We didn't have any guys come along, so we didn't run Ian's retreat, but we did, Ian's workshop, but we did gather a lot of information around what that would be and how to support men to step forward to actually share their vulnerability. Because in the mainstream world, it's not easy to do. It's not easy for people to say, actually, I'm struggling. And that's on the guys' front, but I'll get Ian to speak more about that. For me, we had a beautiful, it was a workshop that Cherie was leading, that I was assisting her with, about self-love and self-care. And this is all about, it's important, so bear with me, it's not just a ramble, how we judge ourselves worthy of our own love, and how what we view as self-love and what we view as self-care. And ultimately, when we're on the path of consciousness, we know green juices, lemon water, going for walks, connecting to nature, all the tick list that says you're doing things right is great. What happens when you're reaching for the cigarette, you're reaching for the spliff, you're reaching for the glass of wine, you're reaching for something to numb you out? What do you do with yourself then, when you know it's not what you should be doing? And this is this whole journey of transparency and loving yourself anyway, and bringing compassion to your suffering, which has been my journey all along. And that's why I judge no one, because I've come from a heavy addiction background, okay, and definitely a numbing out background. And I'll tell you what, if I had allowed those things to stop me moving forward, I never would have got anywhere. I just knew that when I was ready to drop things, I would. You all know my love of coffee anyway, of the cacao as well. But ultimately, what seems to happen is we get better and better either at hiding things from ourselves, or we reduce the amount that these things are in our lives, and therefore we're able to look at why we do them. And as a result of knowing why we do them and bringing love to ourselves when we find ourselves doing the things that we know are not pro-health, pro-nurture, pro-nourishment, that we can still bring compassion to us. And this is so essential. So this workshop was really about that. And then we moved into a sacred sexuality workshop, which was all about intention, desire, and surrender. And this was one that I was leading. Never do a workshop after lunch on the second day of a retreat is what I discovered, because everyone was half asleep. And actually what was so interesting is it's the relationship with desire. Most of us feel unworthy of and undeserving of the things we desire, or we have a block to them because we've been told it's not okay to desire the things we want. And this is, again, the conditioning to move through and to understand. And if you can imagine, the people that came to this retreat had already done really deep work with me. So what they were doing was they were fine-tuning their understanding and then discovering their blind spots. Then we moved into the Divine Prosperity workshop, again, that I co-assisted Claire to bring forward. And Claire did such an amazing job of sharing her personal story. And this is the beautiful thing that's so interesting. It doesn't matter how much money you've got. You can be coming from a lack consciousness and be a billionaire. You can be coming from a lack consciousness and have nothing in your pocket. So recognizing how lack affects us and how, again, we can strive towards things, but if we don't feel we're deserving of them, even if we have them, we will self-sabotage and not enjoy the fruits of our labor. So all of that I'm just sharing with you because this was part of our personal journey as well as the collective. And what happened for me is from the moment that the retreat started, so before I even came on site, I started to get a really painful wisdom tooth. I have an impacted wisdom tooth that every so often flares up. Anyway, the long and short of it is it got progressively worse over the weekend. So I was holding it together and able to provide a space for everybody that was there and to hold that space. But I wasn't able to eat anything more than soup because I still can't. Ian's going to love this. I can't open my mouth wide at the moment. Anyway, again, what does this lead to? Well, it led to Sunday, the retreat coming to a close, me coming back home and actually being in so much pain that I didn't know what to do with myself. I just broke down in pain. And recently I had this issue, this injury with my shoulder, which brought so much healing when I connected to the cellular memory of that. And this is why this is so important, okay? There were stories in my shoulder, in the cellular memory of my shoulder, that as I connected to and breathed through the pain, allowed me to repattern my past and to repattern some key core wound moments that I was not able to process, so I kept shutting down. And whether it's, whatever vice you turn to, to shut yourself down. You are accumulating a build-up of pressure that at some point is going to need to come out. So what happened for me was I got to the middle of the night on Sunday night and I woke up and I couldn't breathe. I couldn't swallow. The side of my face was so swollen and I was so scared. I was just so scared. If you run a program called the Fearless, Empowered and Free to Be Me program, and then you're reduced to an absolute gibbering wreck. And I'm thinking, I've got to go to hospital. My mouth's going to close up. I'm going to die. I'm not going to be able to breathe any much longer. And I've woken my partner up and I'm like, seriously, like I can't even get a painkiller in my mouth. And I was just really, really scared. So bless him, all of his experience of being a firefighter and being able to deal with emergencies, he was brilliant at calming me down and managed to crush some painkillers up. And I fell asleep after that. But what has happened through all of this is I've had to surrender. And when you run a workshop called Intention, Desire and Surrender, if you forget the surrender piece, it's going to be a problem. So I had to surrender to the support of my community. I had to surrender to the fact that I couldn't just show up anymore and hold space for anyone else because I wasn't in the space to do it. And I had to surrender my low-level vices, whatever they were, to be able to feel the pain of what was going on. And what had happened all weekend was all my core wounds were getting triggered. So I went through about 10 to 15 core memories that were incredibly painful, memories relating to my family, I'm holding my heart as I say this because I've been crying probably on the hour every hour for the last 48 hours. And when you run a retreat that is basically about celebrating where you've come from and what you've achieved, and then you're moving into what you now know you need to work on, there's absolutely no doubt that the self-care piece, the receiving piece, is what is so important for me and all of my tribe. And you cannot receive if there's no space to receive. So if you're busy blocking yourself with numbing agents, whatever they are, could be food, could be keeping busy, could be wine, could be anything, right? If you're busy, even on a low level, microdosing with these things, then you haven't got the capacity to feel what is blocking you from receiving what you want. And you know me well enough to know I've done an awful lot of work on myself. Awful is the wrong word. It's a daily practice. So to have been able to get to the core wounds that really relate to the first 5 years of my life, and to really feel the pain. So this is the difference. You can talk about things, but be really detached from them. And then you're not processing, you're just detached from them. And then you go through a process where you can talk about something, and just talking about it brings up an emotional response. And this is where you know that you are in a process of clearing that cellular memory. But what's important is that you are consciously releasing it, allowing it to be released, not getting stuck in the story, but just being grateful for the fact that it's coming up and out. And this is all weekend. Anything that was going on for me with this, to here, to wherever, was taking me to another core wound, right back to not being able to breathe when I was being born, because I had the cord around my neck twice and came out bum first. And I discovered this after. I didn't know this until I'd had a rebirthing experience when I was 14. So I've still known it. I've known it since I was 14. I had a visceral experience of it as a 14-year-old, but there was more to process. And this is the thing. So many people over this equinox period have been feeling like they're revisiting things that they have already been through, they've already cleared. So why are we going through it again? And the point is, you're ready to go deep, 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 deep to clear this imprint from you, and also from your ancestors, and also from the collective around you and the future generations. So one of the things that's really important for us to not keep repeating trauma is to be able to ask our ancestors to acknowledge the pain that they've gone through, and to honor them and say, ultimately, I acknowledge that you've been through so much, but I'm making the choice now to move beyond this pain. And I ask for your approval is the wrong word, but just to be willing to allow me to have a different story to you. I don't need to carry this pain anymore in my being as a way of honoring you. Now, with this breathlessness, I went for acupuncture today, and there's a point on my right lung that this is where I've been feeling the inability to sort of breathe into. And when my lovely acupuncturist Dave put a needle there, honestly, I yelped. The pain that came out of me was insane. And, you know, I want you that in the sort of intention to be transparent, I want to share with you the fact that so many people think that when you are doing this spiritual work and when you are in the public eye, that somehow you are, you know, holier than thou. You know, I come from a real party background. I have partied hard. I'm a hedonist, you know, like I love having a good time. But there is a really big difference between having fun and enjoying that and just having a good time and actually using substances to suppress your emotions. What a lot of people don't know is that my early life was very much tied up with swallowing things down, not being allowed to speak, not being allowed to share my truth, my pain. It wasn't convenient, it wasn't acceptable. And when you have highly emotional parents yourself, you don't feel safe to be able to express your own emotions. So you look for ways to actually hide those emotions and suppress them. My first relationship with suppression was food. And then as I got older, I mean, I tried a cigarette when I was 8 years old. You know, this was the days when parents were smoking openly around their kids in the house, all the rest of it. I remember being in the toilet with my friend Sarah and my sister, and we were smoking, like we decided to smoke a cigarette. Now, why do you want to do that as an 8-year-old? Well, you're watching the people around you doing these things and they look fun, but they're suppressing their pain, so you learn to suppress yours. And then again at 12, I was feeling so unhappy, so unloved, that again, this was a situation where I was looking for something, one, to rebel, and two, what would be the answer? Because this seemed to be what adults do. And the honest truth is that when you start with these things so early in life, whether it's smoking, whether it's sex, whether it's alcohol, you know, all of those things started very early in my life. And they were all calls for love. And even though I moved out of, you know, I was never really a 20 a day or anything like that type of person, I definitely knew how to stuff down that isn't acceptable, and to create a persona that would mean people wouldn't look deeper than what I wanted to show them. And if we really want to move out of suspiciousness into trust, then what is important for us to be able to do is to have an honest relationship with ourselves and why we actually do things. And when you're in a lot of physical pain, you actually don't realize, or when you're in a lot of psychological and emotional pain, you do not actually realize what you are going through, right? Because you're numb to the pain in your body. You're so used to suppressing that you don't know what's there. It's only when you start taking the crutches away that you really feel what is there. And what I've always said to my clients, because it's been my own experience as well, is you can't force yourself to stop things. There's a reason why they're there. You know, my food addiction led to bulimia as a 14-year-old. My, if you like, desire to trade sex for love led me to have some pretty unhealthy relationships in my earlier life. Smoking wise, you know, again, it was something that you could kind of minimize in your life, but was still there on a daily level, daily habit. And this really links to me, to my ancestry, because there is so much fear that I've held in my body that I know I've been processing for at least 4 or 5 generations before me, that I have needed to have some things there to help me out to deal with it, because my baseline was totally like terror. And this relates back to my great-grandfather being beheaded when my great-grandmother was pregnant with my maternal grandmother. And whatever the vices are there in your ancestors, you're going to go back to those vices. You're going to seek to understand why they chose these things. So if you use judgment towards yourself, that you are unworthy of love because you drink, you smoke, you shop, you overspend, you make yourself sick, you starve yourself, you want what other people have, that there'll be a long list of reasons why you feel you're not worthy of love. All of those reasons are rubbish. Okay, you are worthy of love, you are worthy of acceptance, you're worthy of approval, whatever you are doing. obviously, our 3 basic rules for living in harmony with our divine selves and our soul is to not harm ourselves, to not harm each other, to not harm the environment. Or let's turn it around, because this is what Genevieve brought forward from the retreat. Be kind to yourself, be kind to those you love, be kind to everyone, and be kind to the environment. Now, there are levels of kindness, right? You just have to meet yourself where you are at, and to not apologize for the fact that you're not perfect, because we don't need to be perfect. Now, if we bring this to the theme of this particular meditation, what we're talking about here, I've got this lovely, behind me, I've got, this beautiful image of Ian and me, and this was so early in our relationship that we took this photo. But this is this desire to love and to be loved. And one of the things that happens with Libra is you have 2 things that are possible. One is that you find balance, or that you are really out of balance and you oscillate from the balanced to the unbalanced state. Very often with Libra, it can be difficult to make decisions, to decide which way to go. And again, the decisiveness, the trust in yourself will come from how much you trust your inner family. Your inner family will be very much based on your family that brought you up. So your mum, the health of your mum, the health of your dad, and then how you got love as a child. So if you want to write a couple of things down to meditate on, one of the things you can do is, what are the key messages I got from mum about life, about love, about relationships, about money, about health? And what were the key messages I got from dad? And again, if mum and dad weren't the people that brought you up, then who was the female that was the main influencer in your life? Who was the male who was the main influencer in your life? We want to move out of duality into unity consciousness. We want to stop seeing things in terms of black and white. And we really want to start to bridge the gap and to allow the grey. There is a place for hard lines, and they're important, but we're moving into a state of grace by bringing into an allowance the words are not really coming for me, partly because of my delirium. The main thing with this is about you being able to accept that your shadow and your light need to be unified. They need to be both welcome. And by recognizing that, then there is nowhere to hide. There's nothing to be suspicious of. Whereas if you're only willing to embrace your light, what you think makes you feel worthy of love, and you're not willing to embrace your shadow self, the you that wants to annihilate, the you that wants to suppress, the you that would rather not feel, the you that would rather project, the you that would rather persecute, the you that would rather make someone feel pain rather than you own your own. If you don't make peace with the fact that there are parts of you that feel that way and bring love to yourself anyway, it will always have power over you. So this is what the invitation is with this new moon in Libra. It's really for us to move into a sacred balanced state by honoring the fact that we have a legacy that we've inherited, right? Each of us has inherited a legacy. Take the best, leave the rest. And when I say leave the rest, I mean be willing to accept that there's going to be pain there that perhaps you've never felt, you've never witnessed, you don't know why it's there. But accepting that it's within you and it plays out from time to time, and being willing to bring love to it is what's going to allow you to start to receive the things you want. So in order to co-create what we desire in life, we have got to let go of the things that are blocking the flow. And usually it is our attachment to pain stories. It is our attachment to the stories of the past that we feel have defined us. So whether that's the fact that you came from a broken home, or your dad left your mum, or your mum was an alcoholic, or you had a traumatic birth, or you were abandoned at age 3, or you were abused on whatever level, please don't think I'm minimizing these experiences. And please don't think that well, it's up to you what you think, actually, it's fine. But what my message is it's not that these things aren't significant and they're not important and they didn't actually really leave a big imprint. But what's important is not to be attached to the story and to keep telling that story, but to seek to heal that story. And for me, a very important aspect of clearing this pain in my lung and not seeking to suppress it was to acknowledge that something really horrific happened a few generations before I was born, and no one in my family has been able to process it, and it's been left to me. And yeah, it's a heavy burden when I've got my own stuff as well as what I inherited, but we've all got that. And I'm not the only one to have had a horror story 4 generations back. We've all been through wars, okay? All of our families have been through it, whether it was the world wars or there were civil wars, it doesn't matter. We're all traumatized. So as a gift to the collective and as a gift to the individual through our co-creation today, the invitation is to forgive our parents for what they couldn't give us, and to give permission for our wounded inner family to evolve into a healthy inner family that allows you to place all of life's earthly and physical experience in a balanced state. So it's not about being, there's nothing wrong with leading a very pure path if that's what you want to do. If you don't drink, you don't smoke, you don't eat sugar, you don't have caffeine, you don't have grains, whatever. If that's your experience and how you want to live, that's absolutely fine. If you're judging other people for it, watch that, because you're lowering your vibration. When we have compassion for others, it's because we have compassion for our own pain. We cannot feel compassion easily for someone else's suffering if we're not owning the pain that we're in. So please be careful about judgment. And I would invite you through this meditation today to release all judgment towards yourself and towards others, because judgment basically is what lowers you, because you think you're more than whatever you're judging. And actually, the shadow of that is that you actually think you're worthless, so you have to judge someone else in order to feel better. And there are levels of this, including the fact that at the moment, when we talk about co-creating, for some people, there's this sense that this is victim blaming, that when someone is in a lot of suffering or they're going through a tough time, then, you say, well, what have you done to create this? And obviously, when we're talking about refugees, when we're talking about abuse in children and animals, and we're talking about adults who are in really unhealthy relationships, they're being bullied at work, or anything that's going on, right? We're not saying we have consciously chosen these experiences. But what we're saying here is that those of us who are in a position where we're waking up to our capacity to be able to consciously move from a place of struggle, from a place of suffering, to a place of love and thriving, by pouring love onto everything, then it is our gift to others to show them how to do the same. And when we judge, again, when you kind of pity, when you pity others, you're judging again. You're judging the fact that they're less than you. And it is very important to look at the fact that the ego has lots of clever ways of hiding things. So basically, be aware of the fact that you're not perfect, and that's okay. I'm not perfect, and that's okay. If we are seeking to come from love in all that we do, that is okay. And we're going to get it wrong, and that is okay too. And one of the things I've learned in the last 3 months more than anything is don't get stuck in the story. Just feel the emotions that are coming up. And also don't force yourself into situations that you're just not able to deal with. You haven't got the capacity to deal with yet. If life puts you in a situation that you have to face, fine, you will find the resources. But please don't keep putting your hand into the fire going, it hurts, it hurts, it hurts. Keep your hand out of the fire, right? Know that that's not for you. And also, when you've got something to overcome, the way that I would really invite you to do this is to invite your higher self to help you do it with grace and ease. Because if you do it with grace and ease, then you're going to allow yourself to get to a point where you are really ready to face the depth of the pain. Everything that happened for me this weekend, right up to the healing crisis, right up to the not being able to breathe, to having to take antibiotics, super strong ones, the first time in, I think, about 20 years, maybe 25. All my clients know I don't, it's like, I don't take antibiotics, I don't need to. So here I am taking these antibiotics because I could feel my respiratory tract was septic. I could feel that my heart was struggling. This scares me. It really scares me. And this is where fear is a good thing. Like, if you don't go and get yourself some help when you know that something is serious, you've got to ask why, right? So we're living in a world where everything is available to us. And the reason I'm wearing the peacock feathers, the peacock earrings today is because the symbol of the peacock being able to turn poison into Amrita, into divine nectar, is the gift that we all can do through bringing love to something, is to transmute pain into love and to bless everything in our lives as an opportunity to learn and to grow and to move beyond judgment into acceptance. So acceptance and surrender are very, very important. And empowered acceptance is one where you don't feel like you're a victim. It feels like you're making a conscious choice. I have consciously chosen to take antibiotics, and I've consciously chosen to book in with a lovely nutritionist called Lula Rose McGill, who I value very much as a friend. And she's been through my program as well. And so I know she knows where I'm coming from. And I also know that she's going to help me build my gut bacteria back up and support me into even better health than I was in before. And because of all of this, my daily habits have completely shifted. And it's like I've been in a place now where I can let go of things that till now I was like, I'll do it tomorrow. I'll do it later. I'm not ready for this yet. And right now I'm like, I just want to feel everything that's in me. So I'm taking every little crutch and every little vice away. Drinking some cacao with you. Basically, so that I can feel this pain and clear it. And, you know, I'm ready. I am ready now to do this, whereas I wasn't ready 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 2 years ago to do this. And that's it, divine timing. It didn't stop me creating really successful courses. It didn't stop me having £10,000 months. It didn't stop me having a £10,000 day. It didn't stop me bringing love into my life and being in sacred union with my divine counterpart, ascension partner. It didn't stop me being able to accept all of the blessings that have come my way over the last few years, particularly the last year. But what came to me at this point was the fact that for me to be able to receive more, it was time for me to let go of the things that I thought I needed, but I actually really don't. And that's where grace comes in. So the preamble is over. It's time for us to get onto the meditation. I'm sorry if that was all a little bit cloudy at points, but just showing up today for me it's about being vulnerable. It's about wanting you to know me beyond just a persona, but as a genuine being that cares so much. Excuse me, cry. Cares so much and wants you to know that there is nothing that makes you unlovable. This has been what I've learned. There is nothing that makes you unworthy of love. Nothing. There is nothing you could say to me or anyone who's got compassion in their hearts. There's nothing that would prevent you having success on one of my programs. Yeah, nothing that will stop you if you are willing to step forward just as you are and to accept that just as you are worthy. It doesn't matter whether you self-harm. It doesn't matter whether you're having an affair. It doesn't matter whether you drink too much alcohol, you smoke, you're dependent on anything. None of that matters. What matters is that you show up for you and you get the support that is available to you, and you understand that these universal laws apply to everybody. By opening up to receiving more of what we want and aligning with what we want, we are going to have to let go of the stuff that we don't want. We can ask that the process is gentle. We can ask that it happens at a pace that we can cope with, and that we can feel supported and nourished through. And that is my invitation to you. So without further ado, let's do this. You can bring your crystals to be close by. Just have a little rub of our hands and then shake your hands out. Just allow yourself even to stroke your face and allow yourself to be with all that you are. Give yourself a little hug. And then with the crystals, we'll just get into our I am consciousness and we'll cleanse the crystals. Taking a moment to close your eyes. Welcome your breath into your heart. When you're ready, remember you're surrounded by a beautiful sphere of compassion, and we set the intention that our personal healing is also a world healing, a world service. And then please repeat after me. I am all that is. am the one self I am. I am that I am. I am the source of my creations. I am the creator of my reality. I am a multidimensional being of love and light. I am sovereign. I am free. I am co-creating with grace and ease. The win-win-win in everything. I am co-creating my personal paradise. I am aligning with the highest good of all. I am aligning with Earth's ascension timeline. I am surrendering my ego will to my divine will. I am divine love. I am divine wisdom. I am divine power. I am that I am. So let yourself breathe deeply. And let's just cleanse the crystals very quickly. Please repeat after me. Cleanse these crystals to renew their power, to bring peace and harmony. I ask that all energy that is lower frequency be taken to where it can be transmuted into pure love and light, so that only the purest vibrations of love and light exist within these crystals for the highest good of all. And so it is, and so it shall be. Now let yourself breathe as deeply as is comfortable. And give yourself permission just for a moment to feel total love and acceptance for yourself. I'd like you to imagine that you have been draped in a blanket of love. And the Divine Mother and the Divine Father are cooing over you. You're literally held in the arms of the Divine Mother and also held in the arms of the Divine Father. As he holds the Divine Mother, he holds you. And this is all happening within the sphere of compassion that surrounds you. And remember, a sphere of compassion is made of trillions of little spheres all spinning on their own axis. So if you looked at the wall of the sphere, you'd see that it's made of trillions of little spheres spinning on their own axis. And these are also concentric spheres, so we go into the center and then way out again. And they all spin to the frequency of compassion. Now give yourself permission to receive this love. And even if it hurts to receive it because you've never had it, because this isn't how mum and dad were, give yourself permission to have it anyway. Just imagine for a moment that you're receiving the messages. You're so safe. You're so loved. You're so wanted, so needed. Just allow yourself to feel what it's like to be completely accepted. completely approved of, completely desired and loved and held and understood. Now, as you feel these feelings, take a moment to imagine that what comes with them is all of the blessings that you desire. You can imagine the voices that you're hearing are saying to you, you're so worthy of the loving relationship that you wish to have. So worthy of the job that you really enjoy going to, the job that pays you an income that really makes you smile, a job that you enjoy the commute to, you love the people you work with. It is a blessing to be doing this work, whatever it is. Just for this moment, allow yourself to have all the things you say you want and to know you really are deserving of them. Even if what you really want is a night out, a weekend away, time to let your hair down and just be letting loose and fancy free. Whatever you want, you're welcome to have. So give yourself that moment. Feel what it's like to be approved of and given permission to have the very things that we desire, however big or small they are. And now create a small sphere in front of your face. And allow yourself to let go of all the things that stop you from receiving. So the judgments, the stories that have defined you, the stories in your ancestry that you play out consciously or unconsciously as a way of seeking to understand. And I'm just going to read one thing out because it relates so much to letting go of other people's stories. Just keep breathing and releasing into the sphere in front of you. And you can ask your ancestors who have had challenges due to trauma, due to unprocessed trauma, whether it's around money, love, physical suffering, loss, grief, to bless you and to give you permission to live differently, to live a different story. And invite your forefathers and foremothers who have had success, have had joy, have had all the things that you most desire in your life, to step forward and to inspire you. So allowing the pain stories of the past to be released into the sphere so they can be loved up. And at this point, I'm giving you the invitation to let go of the inherited stories, but also your own personal core wound stories, whichever ones you remember. So my core wound stories were around the fact that my parents were both emotionally immature when they had me and my sister. And so they didn't really know how to look after us because they didn't know how to look after themselves properly. And as a result, we were quite neglected, even though we came from a good family. We didn't have a lot of money. Dad left my mum. My mum was broken-hearted. My mum thought about committing suicide. Smoked 40 fags a day, ended up on asthma inhalers. Didn't know how to manage her pain. Needed saving. Got together with my lovely stepdad, but he was quite emotionally repressed at the time, so we learnt to shut down our own emotions and do as we were told. This led to me rebelling later in my life. choosing food and other things as my comforts, and then ending up in some negative relationships with these things. And then I learnt to love myself anyway, and to keep aspiring towards love. So whatever your core wounds are, whatever your stories are, grandparents dying, being abandoned, being abused, as I said, just put it all in the sphere. Particularly stories around your ancestors. Allow yourself to grieve those stories, but give yourself permission and ask for that permission too. For you to be released from that story so that you can have a different experience. I'll read it out one more time because I think it's important. So I ask my ancestors who have had challenging, traumatic stories, bless me and give me permission to live differently. And let the sphere in front of you get as big as it needs to get to clear from your cellular, molecular, atomic and subatomic memory, from the waves and particles of your quantum field and photon stream, from the physical, etheric, emotional, mental and astral bodies, in all relevant dimensions and all space and time, just releasing the imprints that mean that the narrative takes you back to this ego programming that limits you, doesn't allow you to get beyond a certain point of moving out of your comfort zone before the old story kicks in again. Just let it all go. Beautiful. And so I see a huge sphere in front of me. And first of all, we bring in infinite love. And infinite love is the pure, clear flame that is like this clear quartz, to go in and to restore all of that dense energy to 0 point, raw creative energy. And this is the raw energy of pure, undifferentiated source. It is completely unified consciousness. And if you were to see it through light shining through it, you would see the rainbow. And I'm going to invite you to bring down the flame, the obsidian flame, the rainbow flame, the obsidian rainbow flame, which is a counterpart to this infinite love. And it allows us to accept our shadow as well as our light. And as the two work together, so that pure infinite love going in, and then this obsidian flame goes in to transmute the density by going into the core of it and literally like imploding it. Goes into the core of all that density. You meet the blackness with the blackness, and the rainbow starts to shine through. And this infinite love that's going in all of the time is moving that blackness into a grey, and then into lighter grey and lighter grey and lighter grey, until you've got the start of the clear quartz flame with the rainbow running through. So allow that density that you see in the sphere to have had the infinite love light sent in, and then the obsidian flame in. And as the density in there is met with the obsidian energy, the rainbow within the obsidian just allows a deep, deep, deep clearing through all layers into a place where that light can really reach now. It can penetrate. Beautiful. Now, however you're seeing that is right, let's bring down in the soft pink flame of divine grace. I am divine grace, I am divine grace, I am divine grace. And let this soft pink flame anchor into your earth chakra around the earth, into the heart of the earth, and then back up. Through your body and then into the sphere in front of you. And just allow that soft pink flame to touch you in all ways, and allow your willing release of all that no longer serves you, in alignment with grace and ease, in alignment with the highest good of all, in alignment with the win-win-win in everything, as each of us expresses our truth. So we said, I am infinite love, I am the obsidian rainbow flame, I am the soft pink flame, and now I am the violet magenta flame of passionate compassion. What I'd like you to do is just to remember you send these energies down through your body, into the earth, around the planet, back up through your body, and from your heart into the sphere in front of you. And so the violet magenta flame is very much like the wall behind me. If you can kind of see it, it's a violet and a bright pink. And this is the flame of passionate compassion. If there's anywhere in your body that has been stressed or painful, then really just allow yourself to place your hand there and to breathe that pain into the sphere. And so as you're breathing the pain out of your body, it's being instantly transmuted by the flames that are passing through. And so when you look at the sphere now, you'll be seeing the transmutation of the obsidian rainbow flame into the infinite love, which was there from the start. So the soft white, and then the soft pink, and then the violet magenta. And the platinum flame so wants to come through. So the platinum flame is related to the dolphins. It's related to clearing up the toxicity in the fluids in our body and the fluids on the bodies of water on the planet. So this is about us cleansing on the deepest level, the lymph, the blood, all of the tears that we shed. But we're going to do this as a skin. So just for now, see the sphere in front of you with the clear, bright light, the obsidian rainbow flame, so the black but the shimmering rainbow that comes into that. And then the soft pink flame of divine grace. And the violet magenta flame of passionate compassion. And seeing each of those merge together, then creating a golden bridge from yourself into the sphere. And as soon as this bridge is created, you expand the sphere around you. And as you expand the sphere around you, it becomes as big as the big sphere that was already surrounding you. Just take a moment to feel all of this transmuted energy being breathed into you, replacing that density with something so much lighter, a new story. And this is where we bring in, through the crown of our heads, the lovely new moonlight of the Libra new moon, to bless us to have a sense of an inner masculine and an inner feminine. It's truly loving and kind, and supportive and encouraging, and able to say yes and no for all the right reasons that we listen to. Beautiful work. Just really getting that sense of feeling blessed and feeling allowed and feeling welcome to have the things we want, so becoming a magnet for it. As your inner masculine and inner feminine hold your inner child, your wounded self, and love that wounded self up into the highest version, into the most pure, beautiful version of a sacred child. And so as you bathe in the sphere of self-acceptance, self-approval, of allowance, of joy, you can take a moment to invite the platinum flame to form a skin around the sphere. So just say 3 times, I am the platinum flame, I am the platinum flame, I am the platinum flame. Let it create a skin around your sphere. And anchor it into your earth chakra and around the planet, so that there's now a skin around Mother Earth. And then that can also move into the core of the earth and back up through you. And we'll bring down the golden flame of the divine masculine as well. So the masculine holding the feminine to hold all the gorgeous energy of self-approval that is within. And I want to remind you that we're not here to, some of us are here to abstain. Some of us are here to experience the contrast of physicality. The main thing is why we choose to do what we do, and having a healthy relationship with the choices we make, making them conscious choices. So, to complete bringing down the golden flame, I am the golden flame, I am the golden flame, I am the golden flame. Taking that down around your sphere, into your earth chakra, around the planet, and then into the center of the earth, back up through your core line, up and out. So there's a beautiful fountain of golden and platinum love light cascading down upon you, even as it rises up through you. Beautiful. The past is done, the best is yet to come. The gift is in this now moment. That's why it is called the present. So I am open to receive with grace and ease all that is for the highest good of all. I actually wrote something else down I'm going to share with you. We've transmuted all the things that we hide, that we don't want other people to see. And we let go to grow. Just let yourself bathe for a moment. I came up with a lovely statement I want to share with you. I'm not sure where I wrote it, so I'll leave it and I'll share it as a post. This one. See how many I've got. Just keep bathing. Grace is gifting to us in abundance. allow ourselves to receive. And when you're ready, having let go of what no longer serves, having let go of all of the pain that makes us feel suspicious, that makes us feel we cannot trust ourselves because of the ways that we, how can I put this, because of the ways that we try and hide the truth from ourselves and others. That's what causes the issue with trust. So giving ourselves permission to trust wholly and completely our own journey, our own intentions, our own higher selves to lead us where we most need to go for our own healing. Being willing to release all of the pain that has created that suspicion in our lives in the first place. Knowing that sacred balance and sacred union comes from owning our shadow and our light. This means that nothing has any power over you because we are transparent. We are obvious. Our intentions are clearly stated. There is no hidden agenda. So again, allowing fully the idea that it is safe to reach out to all of the fellow beings on this earth, sharing a journey of transparency, sharing a journey of healing. Knowing that when we feel suspicious towards others, we really want to examine our own motives. What are we seeking to hide? What are we frightened others would see and not love us for? Bring that love to yourself anyway. And in so doing, your vibration changes. So with that thought in mind, feeling all these beautiful colours around and knowing it is safe to shine, please repeat after me. Anchor, lock and seal. Recalibrate, align. Balance and harmonize. The graceful and gentle integration, expression and manifestation in all dimensions, in my physical reality and all space and time. I am commanding an axitonial alignment with the highest good of all. And so it is, and so it shall be. Howdy. Now drop an anchor from your heart into the earth, into the heart of the earth, and start to breathe yourself back. As you breathe yourself back, you can be very aware that the in-breath brings you into this here and now. Now as you gently come back, breathing in through the feet, breathing into the point that you gently open your eyes and come back. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So make sure that you feel your connection to the earth. Again, the main thing that I really want to get clear for you as you're coming back is that this journey from transparency to trust means having an open and honest dialogue with yourself and accepting that even when you're choosing to do things that you feel are not the purest, not aligned with the highest, that this is a coping strategy that will help you to get to a point. Eventually you'll be able to face that too. So one of the things I invite you to do is something that really came from Louise Hay. Whatever it is that you want to give up, just say when you're partaking in it, I bless you with love and willingly release you from the role you're playing in my life. I've done that for years to get to the point that I can really let something go. And it's the willingness to bring something else in instead. So, I bless you with love and willingly release you from the role you're playing in my life. And you can say it's safe to let you go. And to recognize again that when we feel suspicion towards others' intentions, it's because we're not clear on our own. It's because we're hiding from aspects of ourselves. We don't have a healthy relationship with our shadow. We're preferring to push aside things that are uncomfortable to feel and to distract ourselves by looking elsewhere. And that's the whole point, is if you want to be able to trust your inner family, then you're going to need to be able to trust yourself and the fact that at the moment you're using the tools you have in the best possible way that you can. And you're going to learn to use other tools so that you can replace some of the more unhealthy, if you like, long-term habits into healthier habits. But anything can become an addiction, including yoga, exercise. I mean, some of the things I'm seeing online that people are aspiring towards freak me out. Like, people aren't looking healthy. They're beefing themselves up. They're obsessing on specific diets. They're converting fat to muscle to a ridiculous percentage. It's just like, okay, is this making you feel happy? This is what you want to share with the world? Is this what everyone is aspiring to? Self-acceptance is key. Remember that there's a lot of pain out there in the world, and the more that we accept ourselves, the more we can bring compassion to the pain and suffering in others. And be very careful about when you're aspiring to be like someone else. Remember that people show what they want to show, and the journey of the ascended master path is to reveal transparency, truthfulness, light, and at the same time, it's not about airing dirty laundry so other people will approve of you or you don't approve of yourself. It's just about being real about where you are, and if you can do that, it's going to really, really help you to grow. So I'll leave that there. Thank you so much for being with me. I am a little delirious. Apologies. I'm hoping this all made sense. I'll listen back to it at some point. Just wanted to share this with you in honesty and openness. And if you would like to book a breakthrough call with me, my next round of Fearless, Empowered and Free to Be Me will be starting end of October, beginning of November. And I'm taking breakthrough calls now for the group coaching. And also, if you would like to know more about my one-to-one coaching, it all starts with a breakthrough call. That's how we work out what's going to be best for you. And Co-Creation Success, which is my 6-week course about the mental body and how to harness your monkey mind and actually start to co-create consciously the things that you desire to co-create, is due to go live as the next round in January. And there'll be payment plans available. So if you know that, first of all, you want to do a bit of less deep diving before you go for the full deep dive, then Co-Creation Success will be the one for you. And we will change its name, but I'll let you know in due course. I'll know more about that with the next full moon. So if you want to join me for the full moon, Co-Creation Meditation and Deep Healing, remember to subscribe to that through the Rosy Glow website. It's £11. That's about $14 US. And it's a very deep healing that you'll be able to go back to again and again to prepare you for the next new moon energies. I'll leave it there. I send you so much love. Thank you for being with me. And please do share the love with others if you know someone will benefit from hearing the message that came through today. Take care. Bye-bye.